Hi. My name is Mars, delivering to you a news article from Science News. Rice feeds half the world. Climate change's droughts and floods put it at risk. Scientists and growers will need to innovate to save the staple crop. Before we begin, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Okay. Under a midday summer sun in California's Sacramento Valley, rice farmer Peter Ristrom walks across a dusty, barren plot of land, parched soil crunching beneath each step. In a typical year, he'd be sloshing through inches of water amid lush, green rice plants. But today the soil lies naked and baking in the 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, heat during a devastating drought that has hit most of the western United States. The drought started in early 2020, and conditions have become progressively drier. Low water levels in reservoirs and rivers have forced farmers like Ristrom, whose family has been growing rice on this land for 4 generations, to slash their water use. Ristrom stops and looks around. We've had to cut back between 25 and 50%. He's relatively lucky. In some parts of the Sacramento Valley, depending on water rights, he says, farmers received no water this season. California is the second largest U.S. producer of rice, after Arkansas, and over 95% of California's rice is grown within about 160 kilometers of Sacramento. To the city's east rise the peaks of the Sierra Nevada, which means snowy mountains in Spanish. Rice growers in the valley below count on the range to live up to its name each winter. In spring, melting snowpack flows into rivers and reservoirs, and then through an intricate network of canals and drainages to rice fields that farmers irrigate in a shallow inundation from April or May to September or October. If too little snow falls in those mountains, farmers like Ristrom are forced to leave fields unplanted. On April 1st this year, the date when California's snowpack is usually at its deepest, it held about 40% less water than average, according to the California Department of Water Resources. On August 4th, Lake Oroville, which supplies Ristrom and other local rice farmers with irrigation water, was at its lowest level on record. Not too long ago, the opposite, too much rain, stopped Ristrom and others from planting. In 2017 and 2019, we were leaving ground out because of flood. We couldn't plant, he says. Tractors couldn't move through the muddy, clay-rich soil to prepare the fields for seeding. Climate change is expected to worsen the state's extreme swings in precipitation, researchers reported in 2018 in Nature Climate Change. This climate whiplash looms over Ristrom and the other 2,500 or so rice producers in the Golden State. They're talking about less and less snowpack, and more concentrated bursts of rain, Ristrom says. It's really concerning. Farmers in China, India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Vietnam, the biggest rice-growing countries, as well as in Nigeria, Africa's largest rice producer, also worry about the damage climate change will do to rice production. More than 3.5 billion people get 20% or more of their calories from the fluffy grains. And demand is increasing in Asia, Latin America, and especially in Africa. To save and even boost production, rice growers, engineers and researchers have turned to water-saving irrigation routines and rice gene banks that store hundreds of thousands of varieties ready to be distributed or bred into new, climate-resilient forms. With climate change accelerating, and researchers raising the alarm about related threats, such as arsenic contamination and bacterial diseases, the demand for innovation grows. If we lose our rice crop, we're not going to be eating, says plant geneticist Pamela Ronald of the University of California, Davis. Climate change is already threatening rice-growing regions around the world, says Ronald, who identifies genes in rice that help the plant withstand disease and floods. This is not a future problem. This is happening now. That's it, from Science News.